What is up, everybody out there? Artist of Strong Style here. Here again, a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. Now this deck, okay. It's using Exodia. To win, you must have all pieces, 5 pieces in your hand. So of course, Exodia. Now, I am running it with, ever thought of using an Egyptian god? Now, though, of course, there are 3. Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. Now, this one, I am using Obelisk and Slifer. Obelisk cannot be targeted by spell, traps, or card effects. Slifer the Sky Dragon can, and the only way to gain the attack of Slifer is by of how many cards you have in your hand times 1,000. Now, how does it work? Well, then I'll show you how it works. Running it with Egyptian gods. Okay. Emissary of Afterlife. When sent to the graveyard or destroyed by battle, search for a lower type monster. Add it to your hand. Now, I did say normal, so you can only get a regular piece of Exodia. You cannot get Exodia, the forbidden one. But how to get it? Well, then, Sanguins. Sanguin. When sent to the graveyard or destroyed, search for a monster with 15 attack or less from your deck to your hand. So there's your way right there of getting Exodia, the forbidden one. Scapegoat. What Scapegoat does, it's a flip effect. So face down, when flipped, special summon as many tokens on the field. That's already to have so many monsters out to do a sacrifice to make an Egyptian god. Tributes. Spirit Reaper. Cannot be destroyed in battle. Dandelions. When destroyed, put 2 tokens on the field. On that turn, you cannot tribute unless you're going to tribute summon a plant monster. At the next turn, then yes, it'll become regular tokens you can do. So this deck is pretty much, you have your ways of bringing out an Egyptian god easily with using Scapegoats, Spirit Reapers, Dandelions, the Emissary of Sanguin. So, Pot of Duality. Reveal the top 3 cards, reveal them to your opponent, choose one. The other 2 go back to your deck. Now here's the thing, you cannot special summon. You are not special summoning. Unless for Scapegoats, but that's rare. Everything else is tribute. But the only tribute you're doing is for an Egyptian god. And Egyptian gods, you don't special summon them. You tribute them. Tribute to make them. Got the Raigeki. Dark Holes. Now, here's an old card. People do not use, but I use. But it's fun to do. The old time Swords of Revealing Light. Swords of Revealing Light is For 3 turns, your opponent cannot attack and their face-up monsters must be face-up. Why swords? Of course, yeah. Don't make your opponent attack for 3 turns. And that's your ways of helping you for at least 2 turns have face-down monsters. Or you have ways of getting a piece of Exodia. Or of course, yes, you have ways of sacrificing to play an Egyptiongod card. And then last but not least, final countdown. Final countdown. You pay 2,000 knife points. After 20 turns, your opponent loses the duel. So, when you have an Egyptiongod card out, they have to stop an Egyptiongod card before them losing in 20 turns. Most likely it's 10 turns because it's 10 turns on them, 10 turns on yourself. But yeah, it's just pretty much 10. So that's pretty much it right there. Final countdown. They're going to lose, but they have to try to stop you from getting the pieces of Exodia. But then when you have an Egyptiongod card out, they have to stop the Egyptiongod card. And sometimes it's not that easy to stop an Egyptiongod card. Mirror Force. Stormy Mirror Force. Quaking Mirror Force. Compulsory Evacuation Device. Target one monster. Put it back to his owner's hand. As always, some monsters, you cannot target them. You cannot target them. But I am sure a lot of cards you do not want to deal with, you can target them and they'll go back. Quaking is just, yeah, put the monster's face down permanently. Storming, put all monsters back to your opponent's hand. Mirror Force, when your opponent attacks, they get destroyed. Okay, so those are your backup trap cards. So let's just say your cards was Raigeki. Scapegoat. Slifer the Sky Dragon. Two pieces of Exodia. So that's your 5, and then you draw into a regular Mirror Force. Best thing to do always, set your trap cards. So, here we go. Set Mirror Force. If you were going first, well then just, yeah, keep Raigeki in your hand. Set your Scapegoat. So Slifer, 2 pieces of Exodia, and Raigeki. If they were to attack, and that was a monster you don't want to deal with, well then you got your Mirror Force. Or you didn't want to do anything, you want to let your monster go away. Scapegoat, when flipped, get as many tokens as you want. So you can have 4 out. Your draw is Pot of Duality. Activate Pot of Duality. 1, 2, 3. If you want backup, yes. Tokens or a piece. Most likely you just want to go for a piece. Put the rest away. Reshuffle. Now, if you just want to keep Raigeki because there's really no monsters right now, well then, sacrifice 3 tokens. You only have 1 out. You have Slifer the Sky Dragon out. Times 1,000 for how many cards you have in your hand. You have 4. 4,000 attack Slifer the Sky Dragon is. So just, yeah. You just draw until you can get the pieces of Exodia to win. Or if your draw was, yes, you have final countdown in. Okay, Slifer is 5,000, but if you go back in, but if you just go final countdown on them, well then they have to deal with rather defeating you within 20 turns. And they have to find a way to stop an Egyptian God card. So even if you just, okay, yeah, it's your turn. You have 4 pieces now. You have final countdown on them. You have Slifer out. That's 5 cards already in your hand. You drew into your swords. Okay, so that makes it worse on them. Because with final countdown, and you've put swords on them, they can attack for 3 turns. So it makes it more worse for them. Because they can't make an attack. They're going to have to lose 3 turns. So even if they just play monsters, okay, monsters, but they cannot attack because of Swords of Revealing Light. Well then, yes, you have your Raigeki, you can do that. And since you still have your pieces, that's 4 pieces already. So that makes Slifer 4,000. Remember, if you have Sangan, or Emissary, you only have 3 pieces. Or let's just say, okay, just Emissary and Spirit Reaper. If these were just 2 out, you have these 3 in your hand. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Okay, I must need 3. So let's say a token out of Scapegoat. So you have your 3 right there. You have to sacrifice it all. Slifer. 3,000. No. Emissary. Search for a piece. Slifer's at 4,000. Or if you just have Obelisk, you can just play Obelisk. They have to deal with the 4,000 attacker. But if you have 4 pieces already, you just better hope your opponent, hopefully your opponent is going to take a risk and hopefully you don't draw into Exodia or they're going to lose with final countdown. That's why Swords is like pretty fun to do. So yeah, get your pieces. And then with Slifer out, and then if you have final countdown. So they'll lose by final countdown, pieces of Exodia, or you can attack with the Slifer and Obelisk. Make attacks. And that's why I say Swords is fun to do. Because yes, you have final countdown on them. And Swords, they cannot make an attack. So they're going to have to lose 3 turns. And hopefully, with final countdown on them, you do not draw into to getting the 5 pieces of Exodia. So, an Egyptiongod Exodia deck. Hope you all enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe. I will show you more deck profiles later. And I'll be playing more of Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. Talk to y'all later. Peace.